Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining for the November 9th, 2020 Rec Commission meeting. Looks like we have a lot of people on board, so it's great. Donna, thank you for putting together the meeting for us and getting posted. Let's do a quick roll call. Starting with you, Kev.
Kevin McLaughlin.
Mike Odette.
Go ahead, Dan.
Dan Reynolds.
Nancy, you're here.
Nancy Roberts.
Don LePage.
Don LePage.
And Darlene, you're here.
Arlene Resetti, correct.
Excellent. Excellent. I see Robin Peliquin too.
Yes, I'm here.
And I see an East Long Meadow.
That's Don Mackey recording.
And that's Don. And I see Donna Prather. Excellent. Excellent. I didn't know if the East Long Meadow was the portal to come in as a guest. So Nancy, thank you for putting together the meeting minutes from the October 13th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to peruse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to table us doing the meeting minutes like we normally do. Give a chance for people to give them out. Nancy, I think those got sent out like around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yep.
All right. They'll give a chance for everybody to look at. All right. So next is in regards to, let's get straight to the director's report. Donna?
Okay. Well, let's see. The first thing I wanted to start out with is that to thank everyone for their help with the Halloween contest, the ones that participated either by helping us judge or the ones that actually put in a costume or put in their house. It was a lot of fun. I certainly know that those of us that went around that Friday night had a blast, so I hope everybody else had as much fun as we did. We saw some really what do I want to say? Creative stuff out there. So that was great. So we're looking forward to the Christmas holiday house decorating also. So that's coming up soon. I also a shout out to Nancy and Robin in particular, because they both participated in that event. So thank you for that too. Field hockey, bantam and juniors, they wrapped up last weekend. The seniors play this Saturday at the turf at 10 o'clock. Soccer's finishing up on Saturday also. We have a couple makeup games, but we're on the turf this week, Tuesday and Thursday, I believe, for makeup games from the Saturday snow. Also on Thursday, and Mike, I'll send you this, is the ELSA board meeting. I haven't got that to you. That came out today. After school is still running. The numbers are a little lower than they were. We've had some scares in town with the COVID, and so parents are cautious, and we certainly understand that. Jordy's looking into some ideas about virtual ideas for socializing. We really want to stay away from virtual just because we know that our students are on the computer all day at school. So we're still playing with different things that we can do. Still up at Pine Knoll. And then if there's ever a possibility we could get into the schools, that would be great. Friday, the governor put out new regulations that does allow us to have basketball. Because of our numbers, I don't know that I don't think I'm ready to have games, but I think it would be great if we could get these kids practicing, at least playing in groups of 10. And then maybe by January, when we would normally start our games, it would be safe to do that. I know that there's some towns that are opting out for the season. Right now, I know that there's another town next to us that they're doing the practice situation too, just among themselves, not with other towns. Let me see. Santa letters are coming up. I know that Nancy has agreed to write some letters from Santa, so if anybody else wants to do that, we'll set you up with the what you need to have. The Marlins are still running with no problems, knock on wood. Lack skills, boys lacrosse skills and drills are still going. Jordy and Kristen from after school are working on a ski club for this winter for kids. And they're looking right now to go to Brookshire East. Let me see here. Oh, baseball had a meeting on Saturday, and Billy and Rich have stepped down. They have. I can't say enough great things about Billy and Rich, and they've done a lot of great things since I've been here, and it's all that whole baseball group has just been terrific. Joe Williams is now going to be the president. Chad Rule is going to be the vice president. Joe Pecanelli's the secretary. Joe Manley's going to be the treasurer, and Mike Carlin is going to help with equipment. Don, your name came up as maybe possibly a coordinator of U14. So just so you know, you're being talked about for that position too. Their fall projects are going to be the batting, taking down the batting cave when the kids aren't using it anymore. They also threw around the idea of having a wall of fame on the dugout at Leahy. Was one of the things that they were thinking about. And other than that, the last thing is here. Oh, well, the big thing is Heritage. Bruce was working with the Berkshire group, and I can get this stuff to you. The project comes out to $7,369,600, just over $7,000,043. So it's a big project. Bruce, he felt that instead of going in pieces, that it would be best to put it all out there. It'd be cheaper in the long run, which is, yeah.
Could you just rewind as where that number came from and working with Berkshire?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Please.
Thank you. I know that. Well, this is because the Recreation Commission back in 2016 was able to secure funds from the CPC, and they did a study of Heritage Park. And from those figures, they put together, and actually it looks, gosh, wish I was better at this. Tom, that looks familiar, right?
Yep, the feasibility study, right, Kev?
The fees. Yep, that's correct. And so they took those figures with everything on the board and put them in to now time, or since 2016. Obviously, the prices went up a little bit, but Bruce just wanted to know what it was going to look like to move forward because he's ready to go. It would take $114,000 to actually get the architectural drawings. And Kevin, I keep using this example because it makes sense to me, on where to put the blade for the bulldozer kind of situation. So we do have the 113 from the CPC. I'm sure that we can, from the Friends of Rec, they left behind some money for the other 1,000. The piece that's hard right now is to spend that kind of money when we need $7 million.
Right.
But we don't want to be in a position where, the first round cost us 25, and the second round is going to cost us 114, and then not be able to do anything because we don't have the 7 million. So we just need a really big fundraising campaign and some grants dollars, and so it's like I can't. I know you guys know the Heritage Plan more than I do. It was just like we take a step forward and we get all excited, and then it's just like well. So
I mean, Donna, we have so many things that come under the purview of recreation when it's considered for community preservation dollars, and we just went to community preservation and got approval for the playground at Pine Knoll. I think this is all amongst us talking, but I think we have to be pretty methodical on where we spend our monies. Of anybody here, I'm with you. We all want to get this heritage thing off the ground, but I mean, spending 114,000 to not even know if we're going to have any light at the end of the tunnel for a $7 million project. So, Donna, did Mary give you any indication, and Bruce, of being able to pick things out of it to get immediately improvements just on the park itself?
Right. No, that's a good question, because we kicked that idea around. I talked to Mary and Bruce both today in preparation for this meeting, and both agreed that the three of us need to look at some options that we can then present to you as the rec commission. Because that's exactly where we are, Tom. That's a lot of money. And then Bruce did indicate, though, that to do some pieces of it, like I said previously, it would be hard to just like take out, like before when we went through this process, we took something out. But from his side and a design and architect, that would cost us even more money. So again, we still have some options, and I know that the fields were pretty high priority, and that's where we were going to. So that wraps that one up as far as what I know right now.
Well, from a director's report standpoint, I know that we asked to find out where Mary stands with our bylaws.
I haven't gotten feedback from that yet.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing that she did say, and that's not just because of recreation, but because there's so many spots on other boards, she was concerned about moving up to 7 members just because of the struggle that she's finding filling other boards. I think that we're doing a pretty good job, though, of finding the people for our board. But as far
Don't
as
we actually have our 7 members already?
we do, if we move it, we have, yes, but we would need one more alternate. But as far as the meat and potatoes of the bylaws, Tom, I don't have any an update for that.
Because that's one of our agenda items for tonight.
Mhm.
is the bylaws. And I thought we addressed the bylaws in the last meeting. In order for us to address it anymore, I think we need some help from the town manager.
Well, the reason I put bylaws on there was just because we could approve the minutes, then present to her
Okay,
to move forward with that, with expanding the board.
excellent. And so we have our 6 members. We have Kevin, Don, Nancy, Dan, Mike, who else?
Robin.
And Robin.
And Darlene's ready to come on board if we get that expanded.
Darlene's ready to come on board, she said?
Right, Darlene?
I submitted an application and never heard back. So I called
Yeah.
Donna and said, well, I don't know what's happening. And she explained to me that there has to be a change, and the minutes of this meeting have to be approved, or the last meeting, in order for that to take place. So I have no green card. I am not legal.
No, you're authorized to be here.
Yeah, I'm teasing. But as of this moment, I am just observing.
Okay. All right. So basically the process will be, we have to approve the meeting minutes. Okay. I think, is everybody ready to look at this? Want to take a 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes? Have you had a chance to look at? I mean, I had a smattering of time, about 5 minutes, but anybody else? All right. This is where that dead time comes into a meeting.
When they went out today,
Yes.
I didn't get
It went out about 4 o'clock.
412, I think it was. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have them.
Well, I sent them, Dan.
Mike.
That was Mike.
That was
Oh,
Mike.
Mike, I'm
Have 'em.
sorry. I sent them to everybody because I went right down Donna's list of the meeting, and I had to redo Darlene separately because hers kept getting thrown back at me. That was the only one that got refused.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I got it at 412.
You didn't get your green card.
She got it separately.
I didn't get them.
All right, let's see.
Okay,
So-
for some reason, my computer got knocked off the internet. Let me see if I can send them to you. I doubt if I'll be able to.
Last time you sent them to me, I didn't get them either.
Maybe I can send them to you.
All right, because they didn't get sent back to me, so they're floating around out there somewheres.
You want me to try
All
to
typo.
you want me to forward the one I got to everybody to the group? Is that too much confusion?
Mike, what's your email? I got it. Check, see if you got it now.
Mike's going to get 20 copies of it now.
Nancy, if
Yes.
you're working in Google Docs, which it looks like you are, do you have a Google Drive that you can just add people from a shared perspective?
Oh, boy.
I'm working off my husband's computer, so mine's in the shop, so I'm just working off of his.
Mine's in the shop.
Yeah,
All right.
it's badly got a big bug in it.
I still don't have it.
You got it, Mike?
No.
Okay, so it's just not me, Mike. I feel better.
Mike, let me see if your email populates for me.
It populated for me.
Is it
Check
spelled
your
right?
spam folder.
I did
You've
notice.
gotten other stuff from me before, right?
Yeah, I am.
I noticed that the attachment's saving it as an ODT file. I wonder if your spam filtering is catching that as potential.
Yeah, I just got something popped up on my phone, which I can't open or I
Yeah.
lose it.
That was from Dan.
I forwarded the original attachment, Nancy. But I wonder if
Okay.
that triggering.
Yeah, it came back to me.
And you got the attachment as well.
Thank you.
All right, so while we're sending that out,
The bottom of page 1, Sports Association report, is a paragraphing or spacing is all kind of screwed up, at least on the copy I have.
Well, it wasn't.
It's up on the top also where it says absent, which is me, but that's all off kilter also after roll call.
Okay, my original one that I'm looking at is okay, so that's the one I'll send to Donna. I can never get back on.
I got them.
just from a gist standpoint, everybody, do you agree with the verbiage? We can work on.
Format.
The two motions are there. Those are
Yep.
the most important things right now.
There's a couple of misspellings.
All right, so in this third bullet point under new business, do we agree to that? Everybody comfortable with that in regards to a quorum increasing from 5 to 7
Yes.
with 2 at-large voting members?
Yes.
And did you also agree as a group in regards to having boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, Marlin swim team, soccer, football, wrestling, tennis, basketball, field hockey, baseball, softball, recreational facilities, and health, Palmetto Foundation? I would also, Nancy, could you put football / cheerleading? Because that's one.
Okay,
We'll call it foot cheer.
so add cheerleading with football because it's one association. Will do.
I wasn't here for the meeting, but what is recreation facilities? Who is that?
That takes in Pine Knoll, Heritage Park, all of our, that's under our control.
So who is representing that? If we have a representative from all the others, I'm just being devil's advocate, who represents that group?
At the last meeting, it was recommended Jordy.
Jordy or
Only
members?
because he's up to Pine Knoll the most.
No, agreed. No, I agree. I just
Yeah.
inquiring.
No, I'm just telling you our
Yep.
reasoning, Kevin, that's
Mhm.
all.
Okay.
And like, for example, let's say Heritage, for example, might be baseball because that's used a little bit more with baseball, or center field.
Yep.
Right. Did we add conservation or anything like that? Didn't we talk about having conservation as part?
The original conversation previous to that meeting, yes, we did.
Because, like CPC has historical, conservation, housing authority. Not that we need housing authority, but maybe conservation, because some of our recreational land backs up into conservation land.
We're tied into. Yep.
So
I
I'm
would
gonna
think
make
yes.
a motion that we amend that one.
So amended to add.
Conservation and cheer.
So we'll have 14 then.
I think the more we can add from the community, I mean, recreation's a large part of our community. As we always say, it's not just youth sports,
Ute sports.
not just the youth sports.
Now, do you have the Council of Aging involved then?
That's a good point, Kevin. Because if Heritage gets improved, that's going to be a potential walking trail that's connected.
Directly to that facility. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else want to add any changes?
So are we adding the senior center?
I see. Council on Aging.
Council of Aging, that's what.
I guess one more. What about school committee? We use their property. Anybody? What do we all think? We use theirs. We give them a large chunk of money. We use their facilities. I mean, I'd like to make a motion to add them. Also,
Does anybody else have any concerns with adding school committee or those two others? Or three others? Okay, so it takes it up to 15, a nice round number. So basically, it's a recreation commission of 7 members, okay, with 2 at large, with a basically a group, the part of the smoke, right, of these 15 different associations across the board.
Non-voting members.
Non-voting, yes.
I think it's a good sample set.
Yeah.
Now, you're just going to extend an invitation. You're not going to, I mean, chances are we're not going to get all 15 of these associations to.
Well, if we're doing what we talked about doing for our last 3-4 years about folding in the associations with this brings
Yeah.
everybody to the table. I mean, if we're going to do any of these, I think the bylaws start here and then move our way throughout to the process. So if, for example, if football folds in and comes up through, yes, you have to have somebody who has a representation for football as a volunteer to come to the board, because if we have East Long Meadow Foundation as part of it and everything else, there's people are going to need monies to keep their sport flowing. We're going to need fundraising efforts to improve Heritage Park or Pine Knoll. So you're going to need to have everybody there. It's got to start somewhere, guys. It has to.
I thoroughly agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying, okay, never mind. I'm just playing devil's advocate there. Probably not all of them will want to do this. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying fully on why we have to have them.
I want them to have a seat at the table. You know, and if that association chooses not to be part of, they're not going to have a seat at the table.
I mean, you hear all the time that they all concerns outside there that they don't really want to say anything, but they say it everywhere else. It gives them a chance to bring it in front of the group.
Definitely.
It could be a universal problem. It could be one isolated problem, but it gives them a chance and a forum to actually bring it up.
I think if we're getting a new high school, I have not heard where that project stands. If that's on pace to happen still, then we definitely need to be involved with them and have them involved with us.
Mutually, yep.
We need a mutual alliance across the board.
Especially if we're a customer of theirs and we rent their facilities. At least I feel like that's our relationship in swim.
So everybody up okay? Anybody want to make a motion to do that? Anybody want to bring it forward? Okay. All right, any further discussion?
Not at this time.
Okay. So we're making a motion to approve the minutes as written or as amended?
I have to abstain, but because I wasn't at this meeting at all, but I would say as amended, but I can't say that.
Okay. I guess I'll make the motion.
I'll make a motion as amended.
I'll second that. Thank you, Mike. And those amendments are cheer, council on aging, school committee, and conservation.
Conservation. Are they a commission or a committee, Tom?
Commission.
Okay, thank you.
For example, a good amount of Brown property
It's
abuts
conservation.
conservation land. Especially if we all got a chance to peruse the open space and rec plan.
Good reading.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need to show hands. All right, it passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 0 with one abstain.
Abstain.
All right. All right, so those are the meeting minutes. And that progresses through the bylaw conversation. All right. Next on the agenda was one meeting a month. Donna, you put that on there for a specific reason.
Just to determine, are we going to have our next one? But now that you say it that way, we won't know until a couple weeks from now. Is that correct?
Well, I think, so now we've done the bylaws, we approved the meeting minutes, right? Now it goes to Mary, right? We're having.
Do we want to put this in when it goes to Mary? Because this is part of our bylaws, our when and where we meet. So do we want to amend that now so she gets the whole thing at once?
Yeah, I think our regular meeting should be the first, what is it? No, the second Monday. The second Monday of the month. The second Monday of the month, with the fourth Monday being open for additional business.
If needed.
Before,
Mr. Mackey, can we do that?
yeah, I'm listening in the background here. I'm actually not sitting here watching your meeting, but I heard that. Because I think second Monday, I have this wrong, is school committee.
No, we were first and third, and we were trying to stay away from the school committee.
No, that's why I'm just checking. I'm not
Oh, okay.
I'm not certain, but since the question comes up, yeah, they look like they're first and third, right?
Yeah, so we want to be second or fourth.
First and third is school committee. Okay, so that sounds like a plan. Sorry, thanks for indulging me there, but I just want to make sure.
So, hey, Don, while I have you, can we have like the meeting standing meetings, but like the second meeting to be only if necessary?
That's fine. Whatever you decide to do about that, all I need is to know that that you aren't going to conflict with school committee.
Okay.
Right? I think I answered your question. If you
Got
meet, because those 2 Mondays are both free then. But if you only use one of them, it doesn't make any difference to me. That would make me happy if you only used one, because then I wouldn't be here.
All right.
Thank you.
So Nancy, the second and fourth Monday at 6 p.m., the same Zoom channel, same bat channel. Now, Donna, do we have to approve those again?
I don't think we approved it, did we? We just discussed it. Did we approve? That's like 4 meetings back.
I think we approved it last time. Or two meetings ago.
Yeah, that was like 2 meetings or 3 meetings back. So if it's approved, we don't have to do it again, Donna, or do we have to put it in because she's looking at this other amendment? Or could we put it in the minutes as previously approved, our meetings will be?
Yeah, I mean, if it's already, since it's been approved, I think it's just a matter of me changing the language in the bylaws.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a motion that the as it's currently constituted under the bylaws of the new bylaws, that the rec commission meets the second and fourth Monday of every month. That way it's out here.
Second.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. So we are going to have 2 meetings a month because the way you just stated it, that's how it is.
It's open. So Mr. Mackey has it set for rec commission second and fourth Monday, but you don't need to meet that there's no business to discuss. And we would determine that
At our second meeting, on our second.
just like the last meeting, we didn't have any additional, so we didn't end up having another meeting. All right, any more discussion on that?
Okay, reword it again, Tom, because I've got it 3 different ways here already. How do you want it worded as an amendment,
All right,
as a motion?
as the current bylaws were approved with the 7 members,
Okay. Okay.
okay, no, I'm thinking it through. I'm trying to not laugh at Don.
Sorry.
What?
Nothing. Forget it. You forgot you were on camera. So
When I pick my nose?
Somebody, anyways, the bylaws were currently constituted and changed to 7 members, 7 voting members, with the meeting date, the meetings are the second and fourth Monday of every month. Second meeting if there is business to conduct.
Perfect. Thank you.
That was painful.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Did you get a second?
I
Have
did.
you, who
That was
seconded?
Mike.
Thank you, Mike. I knew you seconded the other one.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6-0. Shouldn't be 7. I heard the dog agrees too.
Yep.
All right. Next. And Donna, the point I want to make with us having 7 members, if we have this buy-in and this collective from the community, from these 15 other types groups, this is plenty to draw from in a cross section of the community. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let me go to the agenda. And winter activities is next, which you discussed.
Right. And then the other piece is just that any input that you're hearing out there that our people are wanting, or, as you talk to people in the community, just, absolutely let me know what you think we can offer. I mean, Jordy and his group, and we're constantly thinking of things that we can do, especially outside, because that's looking like that might be our only issue. Again, we just have to see where the school committee, where they go with how they're going to proceed in January.
So Donna, can you send us the that 7 point whatever 4,041,000 proposal, please, so we can all
Yes.
All right.
And you got something to say?
Yeah, I was gonna. So, is there a location in town that we potentially could flood and make an ice skating rink? Because I've gotten, some parents say, hey, COVID be damned, but we potentially could do something outdoors, weather permitting, obviously, and keep the kids, somewhat safe. I know Long Meadow floods. I think they're tennis courts or something.
They used to flood the tennis courts by the high school.
Okay.
I've been talking. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, Don, I know you've been talking to somebody about an ice skating rink.
Right. I've been talking to Bruce Goldman, and I've talked to Bruce and Mary about that. Again, it goes down to some funding. I don't think, it also goes down, it's also about maintaining it and how much participation we need with Bruce. But yes, those discussions are going on. And Dan, if you know of someone, we can get these folks together and maybe see what we can come up with. That would be great.
Okay, will do.
So Dan, do you know somebody who has the materials or the knowledge to put together an outdoor hockey?
I just know from sort of speaking from, personally, we used to just take 2x4s and sort of make a fencing, like a board fencing, and then just sort of flood it. You'd obviously have to do it at the coldest times of the night, have floodlights. But that, again, it's last winter was, I think they're calling for a pretty cold winter this year. So I think, conditions might be optimal for that. But I don't think it's that difficult. But I think I could definitely ask around and elicit some opinions from some people.
Yeah.
So people of the community usually use Heritage Park, right? So
Yep.
so for people, like, would we want to use center field? What would be the reasoning why we couldn't use Heritage Pond over this. Now, I'm just talking out loud.
A rink probably would freeze up and be safer before they would say that Heritage Pond is safe, because it's
That's
not
what-
much
yeah.
water.
Last winter, it didn't get cold enough for Heritage Pond. Or Blackman Pond.
Then you run into the problem of you gotta schedule it, how many kids you let on the ice at the same, at one time, who's gonna, there's always gonna be somebody there on site to make sure that there's so much number of kids. Are they wearing their masks? Do we make them wear their masks?
Mhm.
There's a lot to manage.
Pine Knoll? Not hard though.
The pool.
I know.
No, not the pool. Damage it. But those fields, I mean, they seem to hold, those fields would be a great location.
That lower one holds a lot of water. Yep.
That's
It
right.
absolutely does.
And great, you have parking already installed. And I don't know what the access is to water there down below, but it just seems like it's a great venue. And you've got an office space already.
We also have the
a rec
fireplaces
staff.
at the lodge. You can utilize the lodge with the fireplaces.
I mean, it's a great revenue opportunity as well.
See, I love this
Affordable
because
revenue opportunity.
we're actually talking about doing an outdoor activity for the town in the form of recreation. You see, this is where it all comes together.
Lessons.
So where do
There'll be
we
a new
start?
playground there too.
Donna?
I will, I'll add that to my list when I talk to Mary and Bruce about Heritage. Nancy, I want to check and see if that fireplace at the lodge is functional.
Works.
It's
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah, and safe. But yes, I will definitely add that to our list because, like I said, I've talked to both of them. And again, just as you outlined, there's every time you talk to someone that it's brought up like another piece of it that we have to think about. For instance, who is going to run our Zamboni on it was one of the things that Bruce brought up.
A little Kubota with a plow and then spray it over. I don't think Long Meadow has a Zamboni. Donna, couldn't you talk to the Long Meadow and see how they went about theirs? Where they
Yeah.
do it at their tennis courts?
Yeah, I can talk to the rec director over there.
Why don't we ask
And
those neighbors? who
MGM.
love their tennis?
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Doesn't
I was going
MGM run an outdoor rink?
there. Yes.
That's who we talked to.
Well, actually, there's many companies out there that sell different size kits that you could buy too that also
Right.
show you online how to make a PVC pipe Zamboni and a couple different things to do. I mean, they recommend warm water when you do it, but any water would work on it, presumably. But there's many different ways of doing it inexpensively, I think, also.
Yeah, they sell even how to build the whole rink setup, correct? Yes.
And,
Great
and,
time for
and Bruce
volunteers.
Goldman has a pretty good handle on how it would work too. So we need to get him on this discussion.
So Donna, can you
Mhm.
help me? Who is Bruce Goldman? And how does
He's a hockey fan and he's also a teacher at, I
Maple
believe,
Shade.
thank you.
Maple Shade.
Okay.
He's,
Resident of town, do you know?
Yes, he
Re-
is. At one time, he wanted to get a hockey game going between residents at Heritage, but that winter we didn't have any ice.
I think he'd be very willing to help.
Sorry, Mike.
No, I think he'd be I talked to him this afternoon and I think he'd be very willing to help out and see it through. So
Are there any other locations we can think of besides Pine Knoll?
he had brought up center field. Again, I guess it's the logistics.
Well, maybe when the restaurant parking's free again, we'll have a little bit more parking.
Tenaros will love it.
So we have Pine
We have-
Knoll, we have center field. Donna, is there a way that we could flood the field at the baseball field in the outfield at Heritage?
I can ask.
Definitely would have to have a containment, but yeah, you probably could. It has a little bit of pitch on it, but I'm not sure what the difference in height would be from one side, from one foul pole to the other foul pole.
I'm just looking for parking,
Yeah,
safety,
yep.
Lights.
accessibility,
Lights.
know,
Good point.
visibility from the rec department's office.
Is there lighting there?
No,
None of them have lighting, none of these locations. We don't have any fields with lights, correct? Except for the high
closest
school.
thing we would have to lighting would be where the Pee Wee football players play, in between the turf field and the tennis courts.
That's where it used to be years ago.
That makes sense. Night recreation.
But that's on school committee property. That's a whole nother hurdle.
Mm.
They have to be on our board or come to our meetings to get involved with that.
But this is why we need school committee to be part of our team.
Or lights on a center field like I wanted 10 years ago.
You'll get them, Kev. You'll get them.
We're gonna get a Heritage Park before I get my lights.
We'll go to Taylor Rental and get those crank ups.
Rocky, drop them
Light
off, Rocky.
towers, light towers.
Okay.
But that's a good idea.
So Donna, one thing, I mean, a lot of things go on in town without, I mean, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I know you're working hard and doing what you do and just reporting back to us. Is there a way that we can help you in these meetings and be a different voice from the board to bring you more participation?
Support.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see,
Because you're having these meetings without, the rec board with you. I mean, if you don't want us, it's fine, but we're members of the community also that
Yeah.
are trying to move this thing forward.
yeah, definitely. I can, right, like I said, right now, I've only talked to Mary and Bruce on conference calls, but I mean, it's not, but we can have more people on those.
Well, it's not having a packed Zoom call. What I'm saying is just like we had an open line when we opened up Pine Knoll.
Mhm.
Like you had me at a seat at the table on these conference calls. I
Okay.
would like our members to be represented at some of these meetings with Bruce and Mary.
Okay, absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. We can work out schedules.
Excellent.
Definitely like to be a part of it if we can. Although, can I ask you a question? On the parking lot next to Leahy, looks, I mean, the picnic tables, the planters, did I miss something, or when did that all start out, and who funded that project?
That was a grant from the state that our planner applied
Big
for.
grant.
And unfortunately, by the time they received the monies from the state, it was September. And they said you have to have this done by October 8th or whatever the date was. So it was meant to be a solution for COVID for the restaurants in town. It's just the timing of the money didn't quite happen with the season.
Is this gonna stay through the spring and summer, or is this coming down?
I don't know. I can put that on my list.
Because it really hasn't had any use for the amount of money that went into that project.
Okay, so let's think this thing out though. Okay, we have that seating area. We have an outfield. We have some in town that wants to use some space to have a hockey rink or a skating rink. How about the outfield?
Of Leahy,
Yeah.
or even that parking lot? Well, no, you need the parking lot for
The
people.
parking lot's where the tables are.
But
Well, that would-
my point to use Leahy It's Leahy, right?
Yep.
To use Leahy is you can actually fence it off for
what I was-
security purposes.
That's what I was thinking. The fencing's already there.
Not only that, it has concessions. A concession stand where you can use it if you wanted to do something else above and beyond on a night or evening.
Yep.
You wouldn't need many lights, but it's one of those areas that could be dangerous with cars, but you can definitely make it safe enough with barriers.
And if we do bring in lights, we can actually lock them up inside the fence.
Or to it, correct.
What would this do to the grass? I have brothers that put these things up, and I think it's a total waste of time to put these hockey rinks up. If you ask me, it's not cold enough around here. I think people are nuts that do that. It's a lot of work for nothing, if you ask me. You get maybe 2 weeks of cold weather, and then you get 2 weeks of it 50, 60 degrees, and the thing melts again, and then it gets cold again. You can maybe use it for a week. It's so spotty. I think you're crazy doing it, but I don't know how it affects the grass when the spring comes. I mean, is it totally dead? We have enough problems at Leahy with that
Drainage.
out in left field there, drainage and stuff. I mean, now we're gonna kill grass and we're gonna have kids playing like mud out in the outfield. I don't know.
We had a 40 by 20 in our backyard 2 years in a row, and you take it up before the grass gets into its growing season again, and we didn't have any problems.
It does
Except
go
for
down
that.
late. It does go down late, and then you take it up right after it's over, and
Yeah.
it does not really
The-
affect it much
yeah.
at all.
The
The
grass
lawn.
is dormant when you put it down. You just got to get it up before
It's like
which you would
making
anyhow.
it's like making sure you break up your pile of leaves and you actually pick them up
Sure,
before
that's
spring.
you guys working on your lawns. You guys can jump on it. Who's taking care of the Leahy? We're gonna rely on DPW showing up there and scrape the lawn and make sure the grass is up and get it off in time. And I don't know. Sounds like problems to me. Debbie Downer,
No, that's Donnie Downer.
Johnny Downer.
That's why I was suggesting maybe Pine Knoll, where the conditions aren't as beautiful as Leahy.
The
But
only
still, we
thing
need the lawn back there too. I understand Don's point.
from experience, the only thing you have to really consider is how level your ground is. Because we didn't realize how unlevel our backyard was until we started putting up the hockey rink and had a 3-foot wood on one side and a 6-foot wall on the other side. So that's one thing if we decide to go through with this and you pick a location of how the land is level wise for your walls.
I was just thinking, going back to the Long Meadow example, like they do it on their tennis courts. So they have power, they have electricity there. And then you wouldn't have to, necessarily worry about ruining the grass.
Grass, yeah.
Maybe that's,
But then again, it's getting buy-in from the school committee, right? If we're to use, like, say, the tennis courts or.
We do have tennis courts at Pine Knoll.
Which get used for hockey rinks every year.
But to Don's point, and yeah, I mean, I remember my friends when they were doing backyard rinks, Dad was out there at the wee hours of night, watering it and freezing his butt off. So there is that aspect of it, unless you did it, in the morning or something. But yeah, there is that sort of labor aspect that has to be taken into consideration.
Those hockey parents, aren't you guys up at like 3 o'clock in the morning?
No.
Nope, never was.
Although I remember a couple of years ago, Heritage Park, the highway department actually put together some kind of Zamboni to refresh the ice when it was freezing cold. I think it was like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
They do have a Zamboni. That's the point where Bruce said who's gonna do it.
Who's going to drive it?
I meant drive it, yeah.
So here's my point.
I see one hand.
Wait a second. We partially 50-50 buy a freaking tractor and we're not allowed to drive it, but we're getting asked who's going to drive it, the Zamboni.
Well, at the time that I talked to him, he didn't know if he was going to have the resources on his crew to do that.
And I brought my lawnmower to the high school to cut the grass, and I got yelled at for bringing my own lawnmower. But we'll support it.
I say let's support it. What else? You know, can't be worse.
Somebody texted me that's listening to this call that mentioned they were referencing street hockey as an option in conversation with folks on this committee. We considered that.
It's a great idea.
Just need a surface of a different kind, but
Dan, I think you were speaking with this person.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that was one of the other Pinto baseball coaches.
Well, great. So for example, I know down in the town of Groton, Connecticut, they have a rink like this that's done just for street hockey in the summertime, and they flood it in the wintertime with boards. So, Donna, how much is that going to cost us?
Again, I'll refer back to
How about Brown
Bruce.
property?
Bruce. Yeah.
We
what
got
about
water
inside
up
the
there.
Brown Farm? What about the Brown Farm stable? Didn't we talk about that at one time? Is that stable enough to use?
I don't know.
Are we using that horse thing up there?
I think that's what Kevin meant.
No, I was
No,
saying inside. At one time, we talked inside.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There was some concern about the condition of the barn if we were able to use parts of it.
All
No, it
right,
wasn't.
then Tom's talking about the ring that's up there. The space has been leveled out and smoothed out for the most part.
That's a true point. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we know there's running water, right, Nancy?
Yes, there is at the,
I think I saw them shutting it off.
Yeah, they have to shut that off in the winter or it would freeze.
The meter, yep. But there is conversation.
Great ideas. All right, great ideas, great thoughts. I mean, where do we start, right? Where do we start? So I'm going to make a recommendation that we adjourn unless there's anything else. If anybody wants to bring forward a motion for the hockey, I'm open to it. Just how do we get there? Okay.
I think if maybe a little bit more input from Bruce and his ideas to come back to us, or maybe he could come to our next meeting and give us what he has
See-
on his mind.
See, this is the point though. We sit here and pontificate. We don't have a seat at the table to have this conversation with Bruce and nothing gets done. So we need to bring more people into the mix that are willing to help and volunteer.
Well, I know Bruce, and I can get him onto a meeting next time. And Donna, I think starting with him is probably the best
Yeah.
Let's get it
jumping
done.
point.
I'd like to say that I wouldn't want this, if you considered an ice rink, I don't think it should be maybe just hockey. I think our hockey players go to a lot of rinks, although it seems like the state is shutting some rinks down right now for COVID, indoor ones anyhow. I think an ice rink brings a lot of different opportunities. I think it brings skating lessons, like just regular skating for beginners. I think it brings an opportunity for our, I'm gonna mess this up, but our senior population, skating hours, and I think public skating, and not just hockey. And you know, it can diversify the activities that we are making available more in line with the mission statement that you created. Yeah, you know.
Thank you, Darlene. I if I was mistaken, I don't think I called it a hockey rink. I called it a skating rink.
Yeah.
I think what Darlene's saying is spot on. It's you foster a lot of community goodwill. We'd be sort of a unique town that would be offering that type of and entertainment. And you could also sort of position it where you could have a speaker system put in place. You could play holiday music. Make it sort of like a Rockefeller in town type of thing.
That's why you need it. It's center field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
center
you
field
need-
would be great.
I could totally envision that.
In my discussion with Bruce, he was also on the same page with that. Bruce Goldman.
And Donna, if you want, if we still have any leftovers from the movies that we couldn't do, you could do a winter night movie.
That's true.
Let's make it a
Or a
winter.
movie while we skate.
I'm sorry.
Could I just make one statement? If we get this going, maybe there's some landscapers because there's only 9,000 in town. I work for a landscape company. We have that equipment that, to clear the ice. Maybe if we can get people on board to donate some time instead of putting it on DPW, maybe that could be an idea as well. If this is something that the town really wants to partake in.
Robin, I love the idea. All right. Now it goes to the next level. The sponsorship, right? The banner that goes
Right.
there and all that other drama that goes with it.
Yes.
I agree with you. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying one person. I'm saying if you could get, again, if this moves forward, if you could get, a few people, to kind of, rotate, their time or whatever, and they'd be willing to do it. We could throw that out there at some point, obviously, once this gets going.
What time frame do you get? What time frame? February?
I think
I
you said
think
it before that.
January.
I think January to beginning of March. That's what
Right.
MGM, they usually have theirs starting. Well, they do it before Christmas, but I don't think there's any anyway. So I think like January from the new year, probably till the beginning of March, because March is tricky with the weather.
I was thinking about the winter festival. February, when there's a lull.
Well,
Agreed.
February school vacation would be a good time to have a winter festival, but I would plan on having the skating starting right after Christmas.
So
I would agree with that.
I like the center of town location, but the one thing that would be even better would be if you could do it at Heritage, if that was frozen and you had a pond next to it, there's more opportunity for the sport playing and then the recreational skating and everything else gives you more opportunities. But again, location is location. Center, you can't do much better than that from a selling point, from an non-advertising point. But Heritage again has electricity, has the house there. You could do a lot of things there with a movie in the background. More people would get a chance to see it there. A winter opportunity with not as much lighting, but it gives it more things to do. But again, that's beyond the discussion of what's going on and when we're doing and where we're doing.
So I'm gonna, Robin, thank you for being a member of the board here. I would like to, if you could, it seems like you have great knowledge on doing some of this and working with Dan possibly. Could the two of you work together as a subcommittee to bring this forward for our next meeting?
Sure.
All right, that way we can divide and conquer here, guys. But I think
I'd get a lot of advice from my husband because my husband's been playing hockey since he was 8.
excellent.
So
Your husband.
he would be able to be my knowledge.
Good, but like getting maybe the volunteer landscapers, maybe getting the knowledge, Dan, of Goldman, it was Mr. Goldman.
Mhm.
Putting that together, all right, and coming forward to the board, and I think we make a motion tonight to say, hey, we see that a skating rink for the town is a viable opportunity. We can figure out where, but let's at least move forward to create this subcommittee where Robin and Dan, the two of you, since you know the people in play, and Mike, maybe you want to work with, just talk to Bruce a little bit and get in on that. All right.
Wow.
All right. So anybody want to put a motion together for that? That way it's formalized, everybody. It's out there. It's public knowledge.
Bruce is watching right now. He said he'd love to come to a meeting and talk about it.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right. Let's rock and roll. All right. So I'll make a motion that we form first of all, that we find a skating rink a viable option for the town of East Long Meadow Recreation. Okay? Is that good enough, Nancy? My
Yep.
words? Thank you.
Second.
All right. Dan, you seconded?
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was right, and who
I'm sorry.
seconded?
I did.
Dan, thank you.
I only saw it because your box lit up.
And Mike, yeah, maybe, and Robin, if you guys want to, if we can set something up with, you know, all the key individuals, get some momentum behind this. I'm
Thank you.
available.
All right. It's
Good.
been, any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye, and we'll raise
Aye.
Aye.
it. Passes.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 5. All those nays? 1. 5 to 1. All right. So as that subcommittee, Dan, Robin, Mike, you guys are going to work together, right?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. It is 7:09. Any other business to come forward in regards to the associations that Donna did not fill us in on?
I was just going to mention one last thing regarding the track at the high school.
Yes.
So I sort of, you know, walked around it a few times. And the kids were at tennis, and it has sort of zits, I would say, for, you know, around, you know, some sections of the track where you know, something is either whatever, the root system or something is like sort of bubbling up. But yeah, there are a few little potholes, I would say, that are kind of
I
permanent.
took a walk around with a former assistant AD at AIC College who now works at Springfield College. And he was very surprised on how good a shape that track was in, and said that there is a few little places, and I took pictures of them and sent them to Donna, that probably a repair of those little, I took a picture of only like 2 little nicks in the track itself. In the part where they probably do their throwing, and that part on the far end of the football field, there was a little tear and stuff. But he said probably repair more than a full resurfacing. What he was most concerned about was our turf field and how matted it is.
What you want?
And the reason why it's mad is because we never did the funding for basically it's like a sweeper machine.
But didn't that come in with the package?
No.
Donna, don't we have that machine?
No.
Did they get that machine with the package?
I had heard that we had the sweeper, but we didn't have anything to
I'm
pull
on a
it with.
meeting. Shh. Go tell Daddy.
Hey, Robin, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
But tell Daddy, Robin.
Don't tell Daddy.
I'm talking to
You're
the
in
dog.
trouble. You're in trouble.
All right. So the sweeper machine, okay, from maybe Bruce can answer this, Mike, while he's on the line, right? The water cannons were not purchased. I don't know about the proper sweeper machine was not purchased for the
Okay.
1.6 million or whatever it was. All right. I myself, in regards to the track, had a former athletic director for Belchertown who actually put in the track at Belchertown and looked at our surface, and he had recommended pushing it off, because once you resurface it, you then are going to have to do it that much sooner on the other side of it. So if it's he thought it was in decent shape at this point, and also made the point that we at this moment are not going to be sponsoring any MIAA events in the near future because we don't have any restrooms at that facility.
For bleachers, enough bleachers.
So
We have enough bleacher space with no bathroom. That's the problem.
Yeah. We, that's just about what the same I got, was that we probably have 6 years or more still in that track. And if those blemishes really are a concern, that it would be better to go the repair route than a total resurfacing.
And I mean, we're talking about 136,000, I think it was, off the top of my head. once again, that's CPC money coming out of recreation. All right. And we have yet to meet with the school committee or the school board or the school, anything to come forward to see if we found this as a viable option under the recreation line item for community preservation. So, I mean, I don't think we should have any vote on it, but it's good for open forum discussion like this. You know, if you have a chance to walk the track field, please do. But I think until the school committee or the school department comes forward and asks, just like when we go in front of CPC, they ask, did this person get involved? Did this group get involved? Did you get blessing from this department? So,
Passive recreation.
exactly. Does anybody else have any more comments about going out to the track field? And Dan, thank you for doing it, by the way. And Nancy. Okay.
And I have a question about basketball, going back to basketball. Your comments earlier in the meeting were that with practices, were you talking about recreation basketball?
Yes, correct.
Have you heard anything about the suburban basketball travel team stuff?
Right now I've heard, yeah, I haven't heard anything about travel.
Well, maybe I'll reach out to Jen to see if we plan on having tryouts for that, or
Yeah, I've got I'm going, Jen has reached out to me. I haven't got back to her to talk about it. But
And
I think she's,
who's our basketball representative?
me and Dan.
Right. So Donna, this is where, you know, getting us helping you to get involved.
Mhm.
Like Dan and Don should be involved in talking to Jen when it comes to that situation. And
Yeah,
if
I'll
she needs
reach out
help,
to her.
if she
she,
needs,
she just texted me while we were on this conversation,
good,
asking me what I'd heard.
good,
There's people watching.
good. But you got a team here, Donna, to help you. So let us help.
Okay.
All right. We just don't want this to be a back and forth on one meeting.
I'll talk to Jen. I'll recommend that we get together and talk, Donna.
Okay.
Well, when's their next board meeting?
I'll find out about that too.
Typically Saturday mornings, wasn't it?
Yep, Saturday mornings at the
8
Council
o'clock.
on Aging.
Council of Aging, which you can't do now, yep.
So Donna, the one thing I should ask is, every one of these associations, are they holding Zoom meetings like we are?
The only one that has been having regular meetings has been baseball and soccer, to my knowledge.
Like,
Marlins.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Marlins. Thank you, Nancy.
yeah, football has not. So do they need help from a technology standpoint to maybe?
They really don't need to. I mean, baseball's been meeting out at Leahy Field and chairs out in the back behind the building.
Mhm.
So if they wanted to use that, approach, they can do something outside during the day if it works in their schedules. So they've done one at 4 o'clock on one meeting and 11 o'clock. This past meeting was outside. So on a nice day, obviously. So but technology, if there's a concern of technology, they possibly could get away with doing something like that.
But have we reached out to all the associations to let them know that we have the technology available to them?
No, I have not.
Yeah, we probably should reach out to all the association heads and their like, their VP and their treasurer, at least, so there's like a group that might get the email to know that we have the technology available to them.
They can still have a meeting as long as they're not in the town building, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Town property.
Correct. I'm getting a text from football and they wouldn't normally be having a meeting until January.
Understood, but. Excellent. let's just make sure that we have as much information going out to everybody as possible. All right. If there isn't anything else from a sports association standpoint, let's just, right? I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes 5.
Aye.
I didn't see Kevin's hand, but aye. Passes unanimously, 6-0.
Next meeting?
Will be, I think since we have some action items that we need to address, would be the 4th Monday, which would be
23rd.
Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Perfect. November 23rd at 6 p.m.
We'll get a link.
Okay.
All right, so Robin, Dan, Mike, and hopefully Bruce will be a guest. See if we can get this thing moving forward.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Night.
evening.
Bye.